Hey, what's up? Silas here. This is day 2 of the 33 days of posting. I haven't been posting in a while, as I mentioned in the video yesterday, and I'm going to get you guys out at least one video a day for the next 33 days. That's my plan, and that's what I'm going to stick to. In this video, I took a recent trip to the United States of America for a few different reasons, and I was in San Francisco for a while, and I went out to the beach and just had some thoughts, thoughts and different things. When I go somewhere, I like seeing the sunrise or sunset somewhere close by in the place that I am. When I get there, go in the early morning, or when I'm leaving, I like to catch either the sunrise and sunset again. And when I do this, I normally just go take a walk, get some different thoughts. So I took the public transport out to the coast. And that's the thing people don't really get about San Francisco. It's like the whole city is like a beach town kind of feeling. I mean, the beach, actual ocean, is close by to pretty much anyone in the San Francisco area. So there's some really beautiful things about San Francisco. I've spent a few years living in that area and had some really good experiences. Was being hosted by an amazing friend of mine. Really thankful for them hosting me there. But just, yeah, so this video is just going to be a mix of different thoughts. Little warning for people who have weird things about this. My feet show up in it sometime. I also give a warning in the video about that. Another warning is I was recording this out with the wind blowing and things like that, sound of the ocean. So the sound quality might be really questionable in some positions in some places, but I wanted to get this video out to you guys, a whole bunch of different clips, jumping on different topics. Now into the video right now, and yeah, that's it. So out here, San Francisco, back there, Pacific Ocean, over this burn over here. Why am I walking in the sand? I don't know. Could have walked down there. I don't know if this is legal. Might get arrested doing this. But yeah, I just came out for the sunrise, although this is the west coast, so this is the western side. The sun comes from there, but hey, let's check it out. There we go. Pretty cool. Haven't seen an ocean in a while. Like, well, I flew over one, but haven't been to a beach on an ocean in some time. So, cool. That thing over there, it's some kind of radio tower. It reminds me of a weapon from like Neon Genesis Evangelion. Or is it Evangelion? Evangelion. If you haven't seen that anime, watch it. It's awesome. Even the rebuild one. But yeah, and the mecha's like that size of that building. Pretty cool stuff. These little groups of birds. These guys. I'm gonna head to the beach. Note to self. Don't touch things on the beach. I thought like, oh cool, this looks like some kind of like limestone or something, some kind of clear rock. And I touched it. It's not. I don't know what it is. It could be jellyfish, could be something else like. But I'm going to get a stick for poking things. There's a lot here on the Pacific. Oh no, are these like jellyfish or something? No. This is human trash. Or is it? No, this is actually a plant. This is something from the ocean, I think. As I said, I'm not going to poke things until I get a stick. But that looks like it could be something from the ocean. And that's the thing, ocean things are really creepy. And yeah, by the way, seagulls are pretty big too. But ocean things are not cool looking. The amount of crazy nonsense that's in the ocean is pretty crazy and nonsensical. Yes, I've seen lots of these washed up on the beach. Crazy, nonsensical, walking things. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys something I just noticed. Pretty cool. But first, a little warning, my feet are going to show up. Pretty wide feet, you know, working that. But anyway, look, I don't know if you can see around my feet right now. It's dry. When you lift your foot, the water comes back in because I'm in a part that's some of the water has been coming here inundating the sand. But this sand is a really cool substance to me. I don't know if you can see the effect where it dries and then it kind of sloshes back together, like some kind of effect. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. Your footprints kind of disappear when you walk, whereas if you walk on the other sand, they don't disappear. But one thing I wanted to just talk about was privilege and things like that. I talk about this, the topic I talk about a lot. But you see something else, like I can't swim. I mean, I can like doggy paddle. Had some issues with how I learned back in the day, getting that somewhere else. But anyway, I can't swim. I'm seeing some people out there surfing and things like that. Pretty cool, amazing. So now somebody who can swim, can I say like, oh, they have privilege because, oh, their parents took them to a school when they're younger and now they can swim and this and this. But I am also here by the water. This is North Pacific. I'm here in San Francisco. So I'm here, I have the time to be out here, but I can't just get in that water and swim. I can get in the water, but I can only go so far. I'm not going to go out there and swim like these guys surfing and things like that. Or what if you, instead of surfing, I had the ability to afford to get flotation devices, so I can still go out there and surf and do that. But then there's people who can surf, there's people who can swim, who don't have the time to be out here on the beach this early in the morning recording this video. So do I have some privilege over them? Do I have beach access privilege? To have access to the thing that they can do like in a different way, like they can take advantage of this resource of the beach in a whole different way. I think in more ways than I can, because the beach is mostly sand, cool sand and stuff and everything, but water. People come here for water. There's sand in a lot of places. You get sand in the city, but you can't get huge bodies of water like this. You can't surf like that if you're in the city. So that's the kind of situation where I think with privilege, that term privilege itself kind of divides and breaks up into different things, because it's access plus ability. Because for some people, you just have access to things. I've seen people who have access to certain resources, but they can't do anything with it. And we see that, we look at the wealthy people and like, oh, if I had what they had, I would do so much more with it. And people look at that as privilege and say, oh, we need to take the things away from them and redistribute them among everybody else. But they don't look at that at the inverse. Where you go to somewhere like in Africa, where you go to, I've talked about this before with so-called brain drain and things like that, taking resources from Africa. But those resources were there, they had access to it. It's like people living on the beach. Some people, if I decided to live on the beach and I never actually learned how to swim, I would never be able to actually go out and swim. But then some people from somewhere else can swim, then they come to the beach and they're like, hey, why don't we start swimming? Why don't we start selling surfboards? Why don't we start doing something else with that area so people can actually do things with that? So have they appropriated that, or not, sorry, have they some privilege or taken it away from the people who weren't able to swim but were by the beach? I don't know. I don't think so. This whole privilege thing, I think we should look at it in a different way. Because just because somebody is by something or has access to that thing doesn't mean they have the ability, know-how, or mentality to be able to maximize the use of that thing. So this whole idea that, oh, we should just redistribute things arbitrarily by some central organization, I don't think that works. But also, I think giving people access to information itself, instead of saying people need all the same kind of information, I think the best thing to do is make information as easily accessible for as many people as possible. To me, that's the key thing that I'm going to be trying to do with my channel, with my things. If I can go in the world and just have people tell me like, hey, you told me something new, or get myself in a situation where as many people can tell me, hey, that thing is wrong that you said about this, here's the actual thing, I think my life is going to be happy. And I think your lives would be happier for that. And yeah, that's that's the video about the set. Now I'm getting into the ocean, as I said. Still safe, still not worried about not being able to swim. But if I just go, what, a couple of feet that way, 50 yards that way, it's now a different issue. And also the situation, going back to what I was saying before with the access, if I just decided to stay here with my own limitations, when the tide comes in, I think the tide probably goes pretty far up there. No, I'd still be like waist deep. I think the tide's like over there, so I'd still be okay, but that's the thing. So the actual situations are changing around you as well. So your privilege, your own ability may be in a certain situation, and you may be safe or in a certain mindset when you're in a certain place. Like I was talking to some friends that I'm staying with, they're amazing friends, I made some amazing friends.
But anyway, I have the best friends. Donald Trump voice. I'm gonna work on the Donald Trump impression. We're the best friends. We're the best friends. Best friends over here. Believe me. Does he say believe me? Something. Anyway, so you get to the position where I was talking about how some of the most wealthy and successful people in the world that we talk about, especially somewhere here like in San Francisco, we talk about some of the richest people in the world live in this area. And there's also the people who are really poor. But then I was talking about how with food, how some of the most wealthy and capable people in the world today can't cook. Like they probably wouldn't be able to, like they'd probably starve if you locked them in a house for a week, even if they had a full pantry. And I thought about this before, but one of my friends pointed out, she was like, yeah, well, it depends on the situation. You'd have to tell me, do they have like internet access in that house? Do they have a computer and internet access? Because if they did, they would start cooking. It just gets to the situation where they don't need to cook. Like, you have a job, you're earning something like $100 an hour. Why would you take the 3-4 hours to go shop and get the food and come home and cook? I enjoy cooking, but I do realize the busier I get, the simpler my meals get. Where I'm just like, I get to the point where I'm like, hey, you might as well just pay somebody to go out and cook it for you. Because you get to that point where it's like you're just doing a cost-benefit analysis. But if you're in a locked house, you don't really have access to anything else and you have to eat, these people would be able to then decide, hey, let me actually do what needs to be done for me to end up eating. Now, you have to end up with this limitation again here. See, like right now here, you see the beach has been going that way, but different forces are working on the beach. And this cost is, I don't know if it's called an atoll. It's probably not called an atoll. I don't know what it's called. But anyway, I don't know how deep this thing is. You can still see the bottom of the thing. I'm not going to wade through it and things like that. But yeah. Yeah, so we're going to finish up with this multi-purpose nature. I think those things are called tide pools. That thing over there, the pool thing, where I was not crossing. But I'm here at the beach, and there's some people running, some people surfing, there's birds flying. So for that tide pool, I'm just like, I'm not going to walk across there. I mean, if I had swim trunks and things like that, I'd probably walked across and seen how deep it was. And I look in, I'm like, oh, the water's kind of brackish and things like that. I don't know if it's really that clean. And these weird things on the side, I'm like, I want to go in there and find one of those weird things alive and still wriggling. But yeah, so all these kind of things. But for the birds, they're kind of feeding on the outside because they can say, okay, now the shellfish and things like that are being brought by the water and they're being trapped there so they can get easy access to them. The people running right now, you see they're running on this part of the beach because as you saw with me walking, once you get a little further away from this soft squishy part, there's a part right there, the not so dark brown. You see that goes light brown, darker brown, then over here the darkest brown. With a water thing right there, it's rather hard. It's gives a little give. It's like a basketball court. If you've never been on it's like a wooden floor or something if you've never been on a beach or things like that. So for people running, it's kind of good like at this part right here, where it gives you just a little give, but not so much where you can like trip over. You move a little further into the water, even just hitting these waves that are coming in, they can actually kind of knock you off balance. If I'm coming at one of my sketchbooks with me, I always have my sketchbook with me, but I'm not probably going to have time to sit and draw it today out here. But you see, I'm looking at places, okay, where can I photograph? Where does it look really good, like photogenic and things like that? Yet for the people that are surfing, they're thinking like, okay, where is the best place to surf? Where's the best place I have access to the surf? And I think a lot of people are over here versus further down. It's probably a known spot. And a lot of these things coincide. There's a lot of reasons, like nature has this kind of thing where you kind of find probably the best surfing spots are also going to do the coolest things to the water for whoever wants to like take a photograph or see it. Now, I don't know if it's the same for the birds or things like that, but just how cross purposes, different things happen for different reasons. The same things happen for different reasons. Yeah, that's it for now. Okay, just a little random thing. Just walking. Okay, two random things. First of all, sand. It's all. How much sand is actually just ground up dead bodies of things from the ocean that can't already be broken down into like completely tiny parts? And there's a lot of particulate, there's a lot of shells and things like that, bones. Yeah, so you're walking on dead things. Next, this graffiti here at a boardwalk. I don't know if it's called a boardwalk. I don't know what it's called. But anyway, it's a graffiti. There's different things, how there's different cultures and things like that. So even inside graffiti, there's a tagging thing. You put your tag up, someone's not just going to come on and just tag over it because look, it's fully tagged, but why aren't people just covering other ones? How long does it take for you to come and put a tag on top of somebody else's thing? things like that. Why do people just put their name? Why do people just go with their normal name when others go with different things? Why someone writes sex or say? I don't know, let's say, so it's not sex. But anyway, I used to know a friend that used to tag. He's still a friend, I know him, but he was telling me about the different culture of this. But I was kind of thinking, like, let's say you had that Atlantean type of culture where there's people like living in the ocean, and then they come out, and they see this. Would they think this is some kind of introduction to them? Would they think it's like a message? And this is just tagging. There's no real actual purpose. I mean, there's a purpose within their own community, their own graffiti community, of why they tag it the way they do. People can understand, oh, that's so and so from such and such, or maybe there might be styles and things like that. But would that be indicative of the entire San Franciscan culture? Now, how much of what we're seeing from ruins in the past, I know hieroglyphics, first of all, with hieroglyphics, that's indicative of the top of that culture. So Egyptians, your average Egyptian, didn't really have much to do with hieroglyphics. But anyway, you come to a place like this, how much can you tell about how San Franciscans lived from what's written here? You probably can't really tell that much about it. Yet I think some of the things we might be doing about looking into the past and finding things from the past is we're looking at something and we're trying to divine a purpose from things that might have just been, hey, somebody's just tagging. Some of that wall art may have just been people tagging. Somebody just practicing how to draw like different animals, and it was just like a sketch pad for them. Maybe they were just hiding from some animal someday, and then they were like, yeah, we're gonna dip in this cave, and since I'm hiding from the rain or the whatnot, I'm going to...
So what I was going to say there was, I'm going to attempt to actually draw whatever I was doing. So it's just like a practicing. Just a doodle. Maybe it wasn't the best for their work. And I'm probably going to discuss this in a separate video. Some of my major issues with this whole ancient aliens type things or ancient civilizations is I see the sculptures that they're doing and I'm like, those are not good sculptures. If they were actually as advanced as we were, they would be doing like Greek type sculptures. You'd find some really good like technical and anatomically correct sculptures, but you don't really see that. You see very rough things. So even if they were human civilizations that we do not know about, like before the Younger Dryas event, I don't think they were that advanced. Well, that's it for the video for today. As I said, this is day 2 of 33. Good to try to have a video for you guys every day. It's going to be probably a shorter one. Some days I might have more than one video in a day. But it's going to be 33 days of posting videos. And that was the one for today. As I said, that was when I was in San Francisco, this recent trip I took to the States, mostly to be a bridesman in my best friend's wedding. But which was a lot better than even the film. It's a good film. I haven't watched that film in a while. Well, anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Links below to the merchandise store. I will be posting, some of the posts will be new merchandise and things like that. And let me know what you guys think about the things I talked about in the comment section. And again, excuse me for the sound and things like that on that. I'm going to be working up my way into getting a more regular, higher quality videos for you guys out there. That's it for now. Goodbye.